For decades, Mark Rylance was the kind of actor that other actors revered. Last year, his magnetic performance in Wolf Hall brought him to international attention at the forefront of that quietly transfixing TV series. Hollywood soon came calling, and is now starring opposite Tom Hanks in Steven Spielberg's Cold War thriller Bridge of Spies. With his star burning brightly, Rylance has returned to London's West End in a new play about a mad monarch and a singer whose ethereal voice helps return the king to sanity.
He was sent to Spain by his grandfather, Louis XIV, the Sun King, and he hated it. He thought he was a frog for about 12 months and insisted that other people agreed with him, and he behaved that way. That's not in the play, unfortunately.
I'm sure you're a very good frog. Yeah.
But he did fish out of a goldfish bowl at times. So he in a simplistic way of describing that form of mental illness, he escaped into an easier cosmology than the one he was meant to be dealing with.
And so the play is about the relationship between him, put into a position of kingship, very abnormal, unnatural in many ways, and Farinelli, the greatest castrato singer of his time, again unnaturally put into a position of musical kingship, it's suggested. I
compare him to, I think he was the Michael Jackson of his time. He was that famous, that wealthy, that sought after, and in his 30s he gives it all up to go and sing for this very depressed, manically depressed King of Spain. And when he sings for the king through the night in his chambers, the king is able to get up and be a king and cope.
And Farinelli never sang again in public after he'd gone to Spain?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. And it's a mystery. But he was somehow more fulfilled doing this work, intimate work with this king, than he was singing in the great opera houses. He was very fancied by women, Farinelli. He was you know, it was the kind of life you might romantically think was rather wonderful.
For a long time you have resisted the vast magnetic pull of Hollywood. You did a big film last year, of course, and now you've got another huge film out, Bridge of Spies, with Tom Hanks, the Cohen-brothers. It couldn't be bigger, more expensive and starrier. Have you finally been absorbed by the dark maw of Hollywood?
I tried very hard to get film parts for a long time. I just didn't. I wasn't good enough. I don't think it's been. I think they've resisted me as much as I've resisted them. A few years ago, I decided I wasn't going to worry about film anymore. That I was very happy being a theatre actor. You know, what's wrong with being a theatre actor? All theatre actors are told their whole career in this country, you've got to, you know, do television, you've got to do film, you've got to do the whole thing. Then you can come back and do theatre. So
there's no chance of you now being sucked off into the world of Hollywood, where the money is so much bigger and the opportunities are bigger in some respects and all the rest of it. We're still going to see you on the London stage.
Well, it is very true that most of the actors, 80–90% of us who are actors, live at a very poor level of salary. The salary at the Royal Court is not much, maybe 50 quid more than it was 20 years ago. It's not much more. And it's not a salary you can live on in London very well. Actors are going back to the days of Shakespeare, where you've got to be a carpenter or a musician or something else if you're going to be a theatre actor. There's very few of us like me who are lucky to do that. So there's no blame or discredit to people going to Hollywood or making
when
film.
the money comes, you don't say, no, 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 no.
Of course I do.
I couldn't possibly. I couldn't possibly. Say,
dirty,
yeah.
dirty, dirty.
That's right. Where do I sign?
I mean, who's going to turn down a chance to work with Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks? And then the Cohen-brothers come and work on the script too.
Working very closely with Tom Hanks, who's a big figure in the world, of course, these days. What's he like as an actor? What's your judgment of him as a fellow professional?
I think he's a consummate actor. He's very self-deprecating. He's the goofy side of his character, which he's used sometimes in films, is very present on set. He is very humorous. All the jokes are at his own expense. Tom's one of those actors who's absolutely there with you. You feel you're looking at a person, and that person is looking at you and listening to you, doesn't know what you're going to say, and responds. Well, as soon as the camera stops, he's very kind of jokey and moves around and like a horse that's a little skittish in the box, so to speak, and then boom, he's there. Very, very interesting.
Very, very different, of course, from playing on the stage. I was observing you doing Farinelli and the King, prowling around, almost kind of absorbing energy from the audience at times. You're constantly looking at the audience, playing with the audience, occasionally addressing a line to the audience. How important, as an actor, is it to have a live audience?
In the theatre, yeah, it's a bit of a dry bob without them, I have to say. I have sat in company meetings in my time and said, "There's less people out there than here. Shall we play?" But generally, we've decided to play, and it's been a special evening. But the Globe taught me that the theatre is one room. And for me, everything we do in the theatre should be to bring the audience and actors into a feeling that they are in the same room together, that you are in the room with Brutus and Cassius when they assassinate Caesar. You're not watching a debate or a presentation or a documentary. You are there in the room with them. You see it, you hear it, hopefully you feel it. Your judgment is as disturbed as theirs, and you get an experience that hopefully is helpful if you ever find you're in that room yourself in reality on either side.
Let's hope not. Mark Rylance, it's been a great privilege. Thank you very much indeed.
Lovely to see you.
Cheers.